Why are you linking that? That's not pseudoscience.
It is pseudoscience. Science works in hypothesis and gathering evidence.
Really?
He really
Where'd you get
doesn't.
that
He really
definition?
doesn't
Like,
have
I've never
much.
heard that.
He really
Never heard
doesn't
that?
have much when it comes to the debate. This guy
How much
doesn't
science?
have.
How much science have you had? I mean, what's your background in science? Did you haven't heard that before?
Yeah, hypothesis and gathering evidence. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all.
What's your background?
Science.
What's your background in science, might I ask?
I'm just talking about the definition, bro. It doesn't matter what I do.
Oh, you
Like,
don't have. I'm
like,
just wondering what your background in science is. Who am I talking to? What's your background in science?
what does that have to do with anything?
Okay, so I'm going to guess you what? High school, middle school, nothing beyond that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just for fun typed it into ChatGPT. It says no, being certain about something isn't what makes it pseudoscience. So I don't know where you're getting that. Certainty is not linked to that. Proving something, because the word proof means to establish something as true. That's not what pseudoscience is. Pseudoscience has to do with a whole bunch of other facets of like just invalidly carrying out the process. It doesn't have to do with sureness. I would say it's flipped. I would say that if people are saying that they can't be, you never can be 100% sure, that is actually pseudoscientific and is setting up a whole framework to try to wiggle things in there that are not 100% true and then get people like, well, it's the best case scenario. Like we have a lot of things that point to it, so just believe it anyways. And then we get into this whole scenario
Yeah,
of the globe Earth.
What happens is scientists do some science, then they find out the truth about reality. They pass that off to engineers, which is called applied sciences, and then they make stuff that works in reality because we know the truth about reality.
Yeah, somebody in a chemistry lab figures out that this chemical and that chemical put together will make LSD, let's say. And then now somebody, has an underground laboratory where they're making LSD. I just used LSD as an example. But if we take that out of it, a chemist somewhere finds out that these chemicals do XYZ, and then that knowledge is passed on to engineers and others who end up using those chemicals to do things with. They're not just saying, well, it might be that these chemicals do this. It might be that the airplane will work if you use this compound. They know to the best, well, some things they can know 100%, certain chemical reactions and things. I mean, NASA Shield, you don't even think chemical reactions are 100%, that every time you combine these two chemicals, it's going to do the same thing? It's
every
not 100?
time? No, not every time.
But it does happen every time.
No, it doesn't happen every time.
You ever made the baking soda volcano science fair thing?
Gio, he's not even 100% on the boiling water thing, bro.
Oh, shut up!
You're not going to get him with some chemicals.
Jeremy, shut up. That is a stupid. I've explained to you.
You said you weren't 100% on the boiling thing.
We can prove the hypothesis. Every time I heat the water,
so you're 100% heat. We're 100
again.
So you're 100%. You can boil
science
water.
Doesn't work in absolutes.
So he's not even 100% on the heat boiling water thing. You're not going to get him with some chemicals.
There are times you can boil water without. There are times you can boil. There are ways to boil water with no heat.
We should have known with Jaron that he was going to flip because he was on the side of science doesn't prove things years ago. Remember that? With
yeah,
he went back and forth with like Oakley and others. There's a whole heated thing, but he was like repping hard for that whole. It's like totally a kind of a globe thing, and then now
it's totally not. It's totally a science thing that they teach and that you learn if you go above high school science.
That you can't know 100% that water causes or heat causes water to boil.
That's a stupid. That's a stupid one. But
I mean, you are expressing part of what's in this current paradigm, so. I don't necessarily agree, though, that even all scientists even completely kind of agree with the philosophy of it. Because, I mean, scientists are trying to get to the truth of reality, correct, whether it's chemistry or whatever it may be. And they are trying to get to concretes.
Yeah, no response for my card thing.
Your card thing is a parlor trick.
It's not a parlor trick, and it's an example
By the
to
way,
show you that
excuse
it's
me.
not a parlor
I
trick. It's an
I do have one thing
example
though.
that
You
shows
don't
you.
need you don't need to have all the cards. You can actually have one less than them because you have one of the cards, right?
Nope, I only wrote a card down. No, I wrote it. You don't even know. There's 52
You wrote
cards
on
in
the
front
card.
of us. There's 52 cards in
I
front
could
of
pick
us.
I could pick one card and I could get it, right?
There's 52 cards in front of us. I write
So
down one of the cards.
so
I
I
don't know.
could I could get
You're never gonna learn the example, the scenario if you don't like
I could
listen to
We
it.
could just do it. We
I
could
could get a
do it right
statistical
now. Hold on,
analysis.
dude.
I could
I'm-
get a statistic. I could get a statistical analysis of how many cards I need to draw before I find the card that has your writing on it.
Yeah, but we're talking
Not
about
ro-
100%. It's just simple. If I right now think of a card, I'll tell you what it is.
It
The
doesn't
eight
work
of
in
spades.
100%.
It's the hold on. If I think of a card like I'm just going to reveal it. It's the eight of spades. But if I didn't tell you that, and I said, I just in my mind I'm thinking eight of spades, and I tell you you got 52 cards to choose from. Put it in the text chat. Which one is my card? The only way you'll know for sure, and this is Jeremy's example. The only way you'll know for sure if you if you have the eight of spades is if you type every single 52 cards in the chat right now. You will for sure have the eight of spades in there. If you don't do that, you do not know for sure that you will pick my card. It's just statistics, gambling, whatever else. You could, pick one and hope you get it, but you're not going to know 100. But if you type all 52 cards, you're definitely going to have the eight of spades, which means you would 100% be able to know that you will say the card that I was thinking of.
I know, we got a highly educated scientist here telling us that we don't need the scientific method to do science.
He has
We
no
don't need to
response
observe
for the card
anything.
thing.
We don't need to look at anything. We just got to think about it, hypothesize, and then gather some shit. How can you do science without a scientific method?
Do you have a response to the card thing?
Yeah, it's a
For the
parlor
second
trick.
for the second time, it's a parlor trick. Okay, that's brilliant.
And we don't know it. Science doesn't prove things to 100%. Sorry. It's a
You're just saying parlor trick because I said the cesium atom thing was a parlor trick, and now you're just saying other things are parlor tricks because I said it earlier.
I know it worked for you.
Well, yeah, but the cesium atom is a claim of a physical oscillation that they're then linking. Jeremy's thing is just Jeremy's thing is not really a trick or a parlor. It's just it's an analogy of an example of how you either do or don't know things 100%, and it's just using that example of what you would have that you would either know or not know.
He's using cards, and I've seen guys pull cards out of the deck. They know absolutely what card you wrote.
Yeah, like the only way you would know if you matched my card that I picked, the only way you would know 100% you would know if you picked all the cards. If you only picked 99% of the cards, you don't know if you're going to match my card or not.
Not statistically. Statistically, I probably have to draw less than half of them in order to know.
Yeah, but the word no means 100%.
If you only pick half the card, you don't know if you're going to match my card. In fact, you would absolutely know. You would 100% know that you got a 50-50 shot in matching my card or not.
That's what the word no means. Like to know is to know 100%.
I could know.
If I say I know that lucky,
my odds are 1 in 52 that I know on the first shot.
Yeah, but we're not talking about 1 in 52. We're talking about when do you know that you are going to match my card? If you pick one card, you don't know if you're going to match my card.
Statistically, right? I would have to draw about half of them, I think.
If you pick half the cards, okay, let's say you pick 26 of the cards. Do you know you're going to match my card?
Half the time?
Yeah, but half the time, but you don't know if we're only doing this one time. So how many cards do you got to pick before you know you're going to match my card?
About half the time? About half of them.
Nope, not half the time. Just one time.
1 in 52, I have to pick one.
Just one time. He can't even follow along with the scenario, Gio. This is fucking pointless. This guy's
he's using the word no, which is 100% in his own. He's saying, well, I would know halfway or whatever. He's using the word no, which is 100%
I'd get the card.
In his actual language because it's a function of logic. We're talking about logic.
All right, I'll play along. You pick half the cards.
I would pick the card.
You pick half the cards.
I would pick the card about half the time.
Okay, fine. We're gonna pick you're gonna pick half the cards. Do you know you're gonna match my card?
About half the time.
Okay, but we're just doing this one time. So do you know you're gonna match my card?
Well, if I get lucky, I might even have one card.
Okay, but do you
You got
know you're
one
gonna match
chance.
my card if you pick half the cards? Do you want Gio? This is literally pointless. If you pick
And by
half
the
the
way,
cards,
by
if
the
you
way,
pick
I don't
half
need
the
to pick all
cards,
the
do you
cards.
know you're gonna match my card?
I don't need to pick all the cards. I need to pick 51 of the cards because if I didn't choose in 51, I know which one it is. How about that?
You didn't even follow the scenario. There's 52 cards face up in front of us.
Huh? You
I
wrote one
write
of them.
on a separate piece of paper. I write what card I'm picking. You can't see it. I put it down to the side.
I didn't know
How
you're
many
not going to
cards
change
do you
that.
need to pick? You're still not listening to the fucking scenario. This
You
guy
tell me
is
when I get it.
worthless. This
You
guy
tell
is
me when I
worthless,
get it.
Gio. He's literally
Do
worthless.
you tell me when I get it? Do
Fuck off, dude.
you tell me when I get it?
Process of elimination by leaving one
I
on the
don't.
table.
Well, how am I going to know? How am I know if I got it right or not?
Once you pick your cards, I'll tell you, but you're already going to know that you didn't know that you're going to match my card because you didn't pick all the cards. You immediately know if you don't pick all 52 cards, you immediately know that you don't know if you're going to match my cards because you know there's a chance it could have been the one card you didn't pick, could have been the card I picked. So
But I know
we don't even have
card
to.
I did.
I don't even have to tell you what card I have. We're already going to know this whole thing before I even tell you what card I have.
So if I pick 51 cards and you tell me that I do not have your card, I know what card it is because I can do process of elimination on that.
That's
card.
But there isn't
fucking, this is stupid.
There is no after effect of you, dude. It's just a one in the analogy that he's giving. It's just a one-time deal. So, like I said before, the example: if I pick an 8 of spades in my brain, you have to go type in the chat. You have to make sure to get my card. If you go type every single card, you'll know you have it. There isn't like an afterwards. I would just say yes, you got it. You posted all 52. You're trying to do a thing where you leave one card on the table, and then once you say no, you then get a second shot. We're not doing second shots. There's no second chances. There's no second chance.
I know what card that is.
There's one chance. It's like a Russian roulette thing. If you had a clip with 52 bullets in it, and you don't want to get shot in the head, and someone's going to spin the clip with 52 things, and then you're going to have to click it to your head, the only way you'll know for sure is if you make an analogy from that. If you know for sure there's no bullet in any 52 slots, then you're not going to shoot. If there could be a bullet in any one of them, could be your last day. So that you would not know 100%. You would probably not want to click that. But if you knew for sure every bullet was removed, that you covered every base, then you would know for sure, and you might click it because you know there's no bullet in there. I mean, Jeremy, what would you expect if he were to say, if he at least like agreed with, he would just say, oh, okay, so you either know 100% or you don't? Because then he would have to admit, okay, well then all this stuff that you come in here saying that you don't really know anything then, really. I'm not trying to be rude to you. I'm just saying, like, insult you. I'm just saying, like, if you don't know anything 100, then like
That's just not the standard of proof for
science. You'll use words when you come in here. You'll say, "Oh, we've known that for 1,000 years because Eratosthenes put sticks in it." So you're saying, so you're using the word "no," and "no" is 100. So from now on, you should say, "Well, we 99% believe that Eratosthenes." Like you should change your whole language because you can't really assert
that's a fact
that the Earth's a globe. Well, now things are 100. Now they're 100% facts.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. You can go out and observe the fact.
So it's 100%.
Not 100%.
Then it's not a fact.
It is a fact. What are you talking about?
A fact that's not 100%. A fact should be true. A fact should be 100.
That is so. According to you, this is the hallmark of a pseudoscientist. It has to be 100% true or it's false.
No one said that though. Nobody said 100% true.
Well, that's what you're doing. Well, yes, exactly what you're saying.
It's 100% true, or you don't know, is what Jeremy was saying. It's either 100% or you don't know.
We do know though. We can prove the hypothesis to be true.
So it is 100. Now it's 100. You're
100. Not absolute certainty. See, this is the hallmark of a pseudoscientist.
That's the point. So you don't know then. It's a binary. You either know or you don't know.
No, that's incorrect.
If you give all 52 cards, you know. If you don't, you don't know. Now, you might feel confident that if you pick 51 cards, you might be like, well, I'm pretty sure, like I'm 90%.
No. I can, by process of elimination, I can look at my cards, and by the process of elimination, I know what the other card is. So if I don't have his card, I know what it is.
No, but that analogy doesn't have second chances, eliminations. You don't
Why
get a
not?
second chance. It's a one-shot deal
No,
in his
the
analogy.
idea is for me to know what card Jeremy picked. So if he picks the ace of spades and I pick every card except the ace of spades, and he says, you don't have my card, I can say, oh, that's the ace of spades.
But you don't get a second chance
Why not?
because that's not what his
That's not
analogy
the
is.
idea.
It's a one shot.
Well, I have one shot. I picked 51 cards. I either have
Okay.
his card or it's
It's
the
not
other
the
one.
exercise. The exercise is about being honest about your confidence level.
Confidence level. Now, there's a scientific term you probably don't understand.
Does he not understand it because you're 100% that he doesn't understand, or only 99.9% that he
No,
doesn't
I'm
understand?
100%. I can be 100% sure he doesn't understand confidence levels.
So now you are 100% sure that everyone in the world is
100%,
wrong. But
100% sure that he doesn't know this? Yeah.
you're 100% wrong that every flat earther is wrong about everything because you're 100% on that, but nothing else you're 100%.
NASA show. Are you good at any strategy games?
Yeah. Yeah, why?
With stakes on the line, like, you want to put up some stakes and challenge.
So that's what a confidence level
What's your
is.
game of choice? What's your game of choice?
Yeah, that's what a confidence
Stratego?
level is. Confidence level is right there. I haven't played Stratego in a very long time.
Never played it in my life. I'll whoop your ass in it though if you want.
I'm just saying that's a show with your philosophy. I mean, if somebody says like, "Hey, I think this might be true or that might be true," that's fine. Like, they're trying to think about things. But if you're going to come into a debate scenario and tell people what is true, and you're going to assert that, like if you don't think things are 100% and you're not 100% on anything, then in order to be in integrity with your view, you should come in here and be like, well, guys, there's a lot of reasons I think that thing is 99% likely to be true, but I don't know for sure. Is what you'd have to say.
See, the thing
And
about
like
it,
all of your
again,
like assertions and talking down to people and all the different stuff you do, telling everyone that we know this and we know that and we've known that the Earth's a globe since whatever, all those things of no is 100. Instead, you should say, well, we
incorrect.
think it might be that because of this and this. You should just frame your whole thing differently if you're going to actually be in line with your not knowing worldview.
That is not the standard of science. Sorry. That is the standard of pseudoscience.
Pseudoscience doesn't know 100%. So
Pseudoscience
you'd be
demands
you'd be
100%
purveying the
knowing.
pseudoscience that you're doing all this stuff to just get like some like nebulous level of confidence, like subjective level of confidence, and then try
Again,
to tell other
confidence
people
level.
it's true, get other people to believe it's true, even though you're not even 100% of these teachings that you're putting out.
Again, confidence level is another thing you missed. I posted what a confidence level is.
Well, you know how there's the terms we like to say where like we'll put two words together like scientific theory is different than theory and stuff like this, and you're you know you stand up for that a lot against flat earthers who sometimes try to like twist words and get disgusting with definitions and stuff. The same thing is true, NASA show, that there's like scientific confidence level and personal confidence level, right? Right, they're distinct. They're like distinct terms, right? Are you like muddying the waters here with the discussion, or
It sounds like
What?
you're debating for
No.
subjective confidence beliefs.
No.
in
See, the thing is,
something.
you want 100% proof.
It.
You want absolute 100% proof on everything, and that's not.
Well, I mean, it's pretty difficult to have 100% on some things. So, but but even if you're being honest about it, you could just say you think it could be the case, but you don't know for sure. And certainly you shouldn't be asserting these not 100% things to other people. If you're going to assert something and tell someone else what you think is true, and you like even trying to compel them to agree with you or believe you, it shouldn't be a subjective confidence level. It should be like you should be 100 so that you can at least transfer truth to someone. If not, you kind of end up being potentially a con artist if you're just shucking this subjective confidence. I'm not calling you that. I'm just saying if somebody is trying to kind of get someone to believe something that they just have a subjective confidence percentage in, someone might be 99%, someone else is 92%, somebody else is 95%, and then we're just trying to just get people to believe things that are not 100%.
Science does not demand 100% evidence proof. Sorry, you won't get 100% proof. You don't get proof in anything except like mathematics. It can be a close set. You prove things in mathematics. In science, you cannot. And logic is another one. You can prove things in logic, but that's also a close set.
So you're not 100% sure the Earth's a globe.
Oh my God. Show me any evidence that the Earth. I've asked you this for a long time. Show me positive evidence for the flat Earth.
But you're not
Until that
100.
time,
You're not 100, so you're already on the fence.
yeah. In the meantime, though, like I said, I'm a scientist, and you need evidence, and there's zero evidence, zero positive evidence for the flat Earth.
Well, if you don't even think things are ever 100%, then why would somebody else who has truth ever try to compel you of said truth? Because truth is 100. So if you think nothing can even be 100 and you're just operating off this subjective confidence level, why would someone else who does have 100 even
don't
spend
have 100
time
though.
trying to tell you? Because you will
You
never
have shit.
integrate. You'll never integrate. You won't be able to receive the 100% because you already don't even operate with that. So then why would you ask someone else for 100% truth if you don't even think 100% is possible? I guess in your worldview, just everything is an on the fence probability.
I just want any evidence at all, the positive evidence for the flat Earth, just anything that I could go out and replicate myself. I mean, I've told you things you could do to show the Earth is curved, that you could do that's been known, that we've done for 2,500 years. Really simple. Doesn't require $1,000 of equipment. It just requires a little bit of math and a stick, and maybe two guys on the same line of longitude for you.
And so it could be
But you're not
curved or it
100%.
looks curved.
But you're not 100%.
Well, that would be positive evidence for the globe, and you can't even
Yeah.
provide any evidence for the flat Earth. Positive evidence for the flat Earth, other than I'll give you this: it looks flat. I'll give you that. It looks flat. It's not flat, but it looks flat.
It's decent evidence. I mean, the balloons go up and then
Balloons go up, and the Earth is
flat, but
curved.
then they got to go in the computer. Look, I'll stand with you on your point here, okay? I just want to try to, you know.
I've been to 50,000 feet. I saw the curve of the Earth.
See, come on, man. Listen.
Yeah,
See, this is
the secret.
Okay, can I NASA show? It looks flat, but then you've seen the curve, and it doesn't look flat. This is why it's hard to talk to you.
Right.
Go ahead.
From 50,000 feet, it doesn't look. It looks curved. From
Yeah,
70,000
this is
feet,
easy. The secret societies made this trash up, and you're just believing it.
Secret societies. The secret societies are making the shadows appear. Are making the shadows appear on my stick. Yeah, that's pretty powerful. I don't know how the
Came
secret
up with.
societies control the sun and shadows. Yeah. I don't know how the secret societies control gyro compasses. How did the secret societies convince Bob Nodell with his gyroscope that he got that the Earth was, the 15 degrees per hour? How did the secret societies control?
NASA.
How do secret societies control Foucault pendulums all over the Earth to show that they're one over the sign?
I don't know if anyone said secret societies are
Can you
controlling.
help me with John?
But secret societies
no,
are
the guy
controlling the paradigm that convinces people that we can never know anything.
I mean, the guy just said
Can you
secret
help me with
societies
the
are
gyro
controlling
compass,
stuff.
NASA?
What's that?
NASA. You know how you spin up we spin up the standard compass the gyro. What's the one? Not a gyro compass, a little gyroscope, a mechanical gyroscope where you can it's like a bike wheel in a little frame, and you can pull a string and spin it, right?
Yeah.
And right, and it'll be balanced, right? But doesn't it process if it's not completely perpendicular to the gravitational dominant? Doesn't it have perpendicular to the gravity?
All right, which is how gyro compasses work. Congratulations.
Okay, so I know I'm not good enough to use the right words and everything, but I kind of think I know the phenomenon that happens, and I'm just at what point would it not be perpendicular to the center of the Earth and be perpendicular to the sun or the center of the Milky Way or something like that?
Question.
All right.
I can't find it.
Maybe I'm not knowing like what they do. Like
because they can be disproven fairly easily.
Right. And they stopped that a few years ago. Actually, came up with a couple of years.
What's up with your guys' obsession with models?
They have one that they're grasping onto that they're not confident on, so they're just hoping something will replace it.
Did you miss the conversation where we just said you can falsify models? So that's why we have models in science to falsify. And if we can't falsify them, that gives some credence that they might be true.
You can falsify models by definition because model is not reality, dude. It's just a model.
Oh God. Oh fuck me. All right, I got to go with that comment. I can't take any more of this today.
Oh, is model reality?
Oh my God, I got to get out of here.
Oh my God, I'm fucking retarded. Yeah, no, it's not.
Yes, you are. You said it.
Correct.
I will agree with you.
Dude, listen. You guys have. You can have
That's
a model.
The point of
right?
a model because we could test it at smaller scales. That's the whole point of a model.
The point of a model is to have practicality in the real world. That's what the point of the model is.
Nobody has ever said that models are reality. That's just the whole point. They aren't reality, so we could test them easier.
Okay.
Yeah,
so if you have a scientific fact, wait, what did you say, Gio?
No, he was just saying before that like people stopped making models, and I haven't seen that occurring. People are making models all the time of all kinds of things. But yeah,
Alan's literally just been working on one. He's literally working on it. It's got the dual pole, flat Earth, and GP. It's still up. What are you talking about?
He took it from Bislin.
See the thing about the thing about the dual pole. The thing about the dual pole. The thing about the dual pole.
See the new one, Wesley? That they
holy shit! Holy crap!
The thing about
he gives credit to Bislin in it. I mean, it's literally in there.
He said, "Thank you, Walter." Right, for the inspiration, but he made it with Claude, and it's unitless.
Yeah, he kind of skipped out the part where Bislin says that the model is false, that there's no way light bends the way it does, and it's just for he kind of left that paragraph out for some reason.
Yeah, well, I mean, making a claim doesn't make it true.
I was actually looking at the dual pole, and we were going over certain demos on his model and seeing how like the 24-hour sun would work. And
so when the sun is on,
it looks pretty nice.
So when the sun is on the southern circuit, how would the sun appear from, say, California or China? There's a few billion people.
Dude, you gotta see it. If you open it right now, I got you.
If the sun is on the southern circuit, how would the sun appear to move from, say, California? I mean, you could verify that because there are people here in California. There's a bunch of people in China too. The sun would go through like 20 degrees of arc every day, but they don't see that in California.
Is it me cutting out or?
I think you're cutting out.
Am I cutting out? Oh, sorry. Hold on. Me fix this thing.
How's the sun get from one side to the other? Does it Pac-Man?
You know, I was playing around with magnifying glass. Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. I don't know if I'm still breaking up.
I think you're better now.
Yeah, I mean you're fine. I was just filling in the dead air.
Before you do, to answer that, right? Like, what does the sun do? Dude, it's crazy because when you actually look at the dual pole representation, and if you look at where Kiribati is, remember Kiribati? Or Kiribati, or however you say it. It's like in what's it called? The French Islands, the Line Islands or whatever. And if you look at where Kiribati is and like how the time zone works there, it looks all kind of janked up, right? Literally on the representation that Alan made, where west completely goes all the way to one side, like how the dual pole looks like that. It's exactly where Kiribati is, dude. So weird, dude.
It's
like if
weird
there
you
was
would
something to
base
happen there.
geography. It's weird you would base geography on time zones, not the other way around.
We talking about time zones are just arbitrary.
Yes. So why are you judging a map model by the time zones? That's my whole point.
Your whole point is gay. I'm not judging the whole map just based on time zones.
Well, that was your first point.
Okay. So you already made a judgment call as to like, oh, that was my only thing that I was going to say.
No, it was your first point to prove that there's some validity to this. Is a time zone argument?
You know what? You can live on your flying water ball that you have no proof
answer
of.
my
That's fine.
question. Don't get
I'm trying
angry.
to
Just
discuss.
answer my question.
You're being real annoying, dude.
Your first proof
All
is
right. You know
appealing
what?
to time zones.
Fuck off. Fuck off, dude.
Well, you don't
Seriously.
need to get angry. I'm just trying to make sure that's your point. Your first point you go to is time zones.
Who cares? Yes, I'm talking about Kiribati and then how weird the time zone looks like in that area. Yes. And if you look on the sphere model, if you look on the orthographic projection, right, the globe, and you look at where Kiribati is, okay, supposedly you're supposed to be able to see 51% of the sphere at all times, correct? And if that's the case,
That's incorrect. Incorrect. You never see more than 50%.
Even with refraction?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know your model better than you, bro.
I don't think
It's
you'd even see more than
51.5%, bro.
50. Hold on a second. I don't think you'd see more than 50% of.
It's 51.5, dude. Look it up. But anyway, the point
Okay.
is, I'm trying to say, is where Kiribati is, and like in that area in the Pacific Ocean, you can look at the sphere model and you can see that there's an entire section of just ocean. Like it literally is like almost half the sphere is just ocean. I know it's 70% of covered in water, but anyway, the point is, if you look at where those longitudes are, where Kiribati is, and then on the other side is where Japan is. It's just kind of interesting why they call Japan the land of the rising sun. It's like literally where the sun would rise from, like in that area. I don't know, just interesting, man.
Yeah, like on the equator, on the equinox when the sun's rising in the east and then moving along the equator to the west.
Yep.
I'd be interested to see what you're referring to. I'm looking at the model now, or at the
Damn, dude, I'm lagging hard. Yeah, check it out. So there's like two search boxes, right? One on the bottom to the left. That's how you can like search up certain objects. Like if you wanted the sun, the moon, a planet, etc. And then on the right is options that you can search through. So if you type in like AZI, like AZI, that's how you can get to the azimuth to like turn on tracking in the True GP real quick.
Yeah, it says azimuthal ring and heavenly vault AZI.
Yeah, I'll be in a second. I'm gonna pop on my computer, but I gotta do some laundry. I actually have to go in a second, but I want to show you the model real quick. And I'm sure Alan's been working on it all day, probably.
Yeah, I've got it pulled up. I figured out, if you go over to show and then map projection, you can pick. Looks like there's 2 dual pole ones. AE equatorial. Oh, and then HQ, is that high quality? Or what does HQ stand for?
No. So you see where it shows north, south, west, etc. on the bottom, like the letters? You'll see one that says FE, GE, and then DP. But you have to click on it. So you click on, that's how you switch between them. See what I'm saying? Here, I'm gonna pop on and I'll show you real quick.
All right, because I see these 2 little search boxes and they're kind of like overlapping the menus. So maybe
You have to zoom out.
All right, or maybe my screen resolution.
Yeah, when he made it on like an ultra wide. He's got to fix that still. Here, I'm coming in.
Oh, I see. If I put my zoom down, or I mean, I zoom.
It's still not ideal though.
I see it. Yeah. Okay. Now it's not overlapping at least. So yeah, okay, I see it now. Yeah, that menu. I had to go to 75% for it to kind of show where I could see all the different menus.
Let me show you real quick. Some cool stuff. Okay, so I just had Kiribati. Just want to show you guys this. So Kiribati. Okay, just get that. Boom. Oh, what is it? $157. $1.9. Now see where it is on the FE? It's like that's the observer. You can go here. I don't know if you've seen this yet, Gio.
That's pretty
How
sweet.
cool is that?
Yeah.
Right? You can go west. Those are Celtio stars, by the way. There's the moon. If I want to track the sun. How sick is that, right?
It's like an equatorial mount right now.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then look,
what are the things flying by?
Satellites. I could take those off though. So like right here, you could track pretty much everything. I'll disable the satellites. Celtio stars, you got galaxies, quasars, black holes, constellations, cell nav. Cell nav means cell nav, like certain stars for cell nav. It should be enabled already. Then here, check this out. Boom, boom. That's the cool part, right? So I can even do an optical vault for the ring. I'm in the I'm in the FB mode right now, by the way. Oh wait, what is this? Oh yeah, see this is globe, right? It's all equivalent. Essentially, that's how it's represented.
That's pretty cool too. That view. That's interesting. It's like the azimuthal grid on a globe, which it like doesn't really match, but I guess you can't have a huge flat region that big on a globe. But
see, we're facing north. That's dual pole. That's FE. Globe Earth again. Watch dual pole. Now look where I'm at, right? You see this? This is where Kiribati is, dude. Isn't that wild? So if I were to track the sun, right? This is where it goes on the dual pole. Literally just teleports.
there it is.
Dude, it's so cool. This is all made with Claude But look, see, that's what happens with the sun. This is the apparent position. So like if I were to do, where is it? Trace GP. Look how sick that is.
Oh, you put all the stars on too. That's pretty cool.
Yep. And then I can trace here. I think I can trace it. Trace optical vault. Yeah, look. And then for Starfield, let's just say I want here. Let me disable that. Clear
So that's like
trace.
accurately.
Where's the sun going right now? Is it just on the horizon? Is that what it's showing?
No, when he had it zoomed out, it showed it like the apparent sun position on the where it was moving. Wait, what are you asking though? How?
Right.
Hold on,
So
I'm gonna show you
right
guys
here,
this.
where does the sun go? Right here. Is it just saying it's on the horizon?
No, if I were to track it, watch. See?
Yeah. Where is the sun right now?
The sun.
going around.
If I were watch. I'll show you. So see how the light distribution's there?
Where's the sun right now?
And then now it's coming back.
Right there, right to the left of his mouse, right there. That
Yep.
Tropic of
I could
Cancer,
do
or whatever. Wherever
Heavenly
it's at.
Vault. It's the Heavenly Vault. There's the true positions. So this is the true positions, right? Versus what you see as the observer. So the true
that's the dual
positions.
pole. What do they use as flat then? Is it just a Gleason, like a Gleason's type?
Same thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's a
Looks
okay,
low.
cool.
And then globe. It's all equivalent, dude. Except, check this out. I found this to be fascinating. So look at the satellites. So if I enable all satellites. Okay, now let me slow down a bit.
That's pretty cool, that tracking part, because that's basically the sun. Like if it's in the north, it's essentially circling the North Pole. That was just cool how you do the tracking mode, where it kind of shows the.
Look. See that? Those are satellites. So look what it looks like. Oh, it's still kind of stuck on. Hold on. Sometimes it glitches. There's a lot going on in here. Find it best to just do that. All right, so if I go to dual pole mode, right? Tracker, satellites, enable all, disable all, enable all. Okay, yeah. Show. There's the heavenly view. Wait. ASI. Where's it? Nope, not that one. It is ASI. Azimuth ring. There we go. So if I trace GP, but I only want, let's do default random, and then disable those, disable. I'm just going to show you just the satellites. Look at that. What does that look like to you?
An electric field circuit?
Toroid. Now, if I were to trace it, right? Boom. Looks crazy, dude.
Is that looking north?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Notice how the satellites never, ever go north. FE, looking north, see? GE. Oh, it's kind of messed up. Hold on. Oh, hold on. It's messed up. It happens sometimes. Yeah, look at that, though. How cool is that? I am tracking a little too much, though, so... back. Just stop it all right there. But yeah, man, you can do whatever. And it's all equivalent. Like, here, watch these demos. Want to see something really cool? How about the analemma? And then times 2. You can go faster. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me end tracking though. Traces the analemma, dude. That's at 45 degrees north and 0 longitude. I go to the equator and demo. Let me just do it again. Tracker, trace GP. Ready?
That is so cool to see like the field of vision and then what's actually happening.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, this does look awesome. That's showing the analemma. Wow, it's showing like both, like the field of vision and like the God's eye view.
Yeah, exactly. Heavenly and optical. Now check this out.
Yeah.
How about flight routes? Alan's been working hard, man. Great circle routes. Flat earthers don't ever have a model. How about all 3? And look, all distances are unitless, which shows that the ratios that you guys need, right? 93 million miles away, 3969 of the radius of the ball. It's arbitrary. You can put whatever number you want. Doesn't matter.
Why does that? Why does the airplane go on a curved path? Why would it ever do that?
It's just following longitude and latitude. What are you talking about?
So that doesn't show distance as accurately in your opinion.
Yeah, it does. Here's an actual flight. This is from Ruhib.
No, I'm asking you why, if that's geographically accurate, why is the airplane? Why wouldn't it? Hold on. Why wouldn't it follow a straight line path?
Why would it follow a straight line path? It's following longitude and latitude.
Why would it fly farther when it could fly shorter distances?
It's the same distance.
So this isn't 1-to-1.
Or do you not know your?
So this isn't 1-to-1 scale. So from Santiago to Australia, the shortest distance is not a straight line on this map.
No one who said it's a straight line. Why are you saying it's a straight line?
So in geometry, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Would you agree with me?
Yeah, but that's not how you navigate on a longitude. Like that's not how you navigate with longitude and latitude.
Okay, so you do agree then that this doesn't
It's a spherical coordinate system? Yeah.
Wait, hold on a second. So this doesn't show accurate land or distances, correct then?
No, no. It's literally equivalent. Here, look, I'll show you.
Then why isn't it traveling why would it travel in a longer route? Why would an airplane fly a longer route than a shorter route?
Dude, what projection do you want to see? It's going to have distortions. But guess what? The flight times remain intact and equivalent because it's still based off the same coordinate system.
So that's a straight line there on the globe. This is a curved line now on a flat surface.
Let me ask you something. Are these longitude and latitude lines?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then could you represent these longitude latitude lines literally on any projection that you possibly want?
Yeah, but you're not listening to me. If you think this is the true shape of the Earth, it's flat, and this is the true shape. What?
I said, "Oh my God!"
So if you think this is the true shape of the Earth,
were you trying to say that you couldn't have curved lines over
I'll
a
finish
flat
my
Earth?
thought, and then you can jump in. If you think this is the true shape of the Earth, and it's flat, it's 2D surface, then the closest distance between 2 points is a straight line. That flight is not traveling the shortest distance.
There's all kinds of reasons they take a curved path over the water. There's jet streams that affect that. It's the same exact thing as the globe
then you
path.
agree. Then you agree, new perspective, that the actual shortest distance would be a straight line on that map, but it's doing it for different reasons, right?
Yeah, and you would take this a straight line in quotes. You can't have a straight line on a globe, but you would take the same straight line if it were more convenient or made sense to do so on the globe. And you don't fly
Okay.
over
Well,
continents or
Sickles
avoid
was
jet
arguing a
streams.
different.
It's the exact same thing, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
Sickles
not
was arguing a
arguing
different.
anything, dude. I'm just
Sickles was
showing a
arguing a
concept.
different. He was
I
arguing
don't need to
a
argue
different
with
point
you.
that it wasn't the shortest path. So you New Perspective says it is the
Wesley,
shortest path, and I agree
he's
with
trying
him.
to show this, man. Just take 5 trying to argue against it is making you
No,
sound a little bit
I'm
bad right now.
questioning it. I'm questioning it. This is a very
Okay.
logical point, and you guys aren't agreeing on it, and that's fine if you don't agree on it, because I
You're
don't
not
agree
being
on it.
logical at all. You're sounding really bad. Just take 5.
No, New Perspective. That I know it hurts you, but again,
No,
on
Wesley,
this
shut the
map,
fuck up, dude. You're annoying, dude. I'm just trying to show the model to other people who are actually interested.
right? It's
Right.
a apt question. On that map, is the shortest distance a straight line between 2
It's the
points?
same. Okay, I'm gonna say it one more fucking time. It's the exact same distance on all 3 representations. Do you
You didn't
understand
answer my
now?
question. My question is on that map, is the shortest distance between 2 points a straight line on that map you were showing?
No,
Okay,
it depends.
New Perspective says it is. So that's why I asked. That's all I
No, he
asked.
said it depends. It said sometimes it's
No,
curving,
he
sometimes
didn't.
it's jet stream, sometimes it depends if you're going over water.
No, that doesn't.
Yes, that's
That's
exactly
the
what he
flight.
said.
Hold on a second. No, he was saying that's why they flights take
Dude,
different
get a
than straight
fucking
lines.
life, Wesley. I'm out of here, dude. You're annoying.
Seriously?
Seriously?
You
I have
can't
nothing
handle.
to
You
argue
can't
against.
handle.
No, you're
New
just fucking
Perspective.
annoying, and I don't have much time before I have to go to work.
I know. New
So
Perspective
fuck
said it
off.
was a straight line between
Here you
2
go,
points.
Gio.
You said it's not. So that's fine. That's all I wanted to get across. Thanks.
Gio, if you go to demos, there's so many different demos you can look at. You can look at eclipses. You can look at the moon path, the sun and moon analemma. You can see Sigma Octantis. You can see all 3 observers in one instant. You know how they always say, like, "Oh, what's going on if you look south? You know, what are they seeing?"
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, dude. That looks awesome, man. I'm gonna dig into it a little bit more and see, because
Dude,
that's
fun.
there's a lot of cool ways what you were just showing, like what that allows to see. And Wesley, I actually hear your point, what you're saying. So we've talked about this in depth, like the sun path thing, or the flight paths. So I'll just say briefly on that. Like, I mean, Jeremy's talked about that they're not flying the shortest path based on hit that whole argument. There is also the idea that, like, on a globe Earth, like the Great Circle routes are straight. Well, they're curving around the curve, but they're not turning left to right. But on the dual pole, that they actually are making some left to right, changes. But again, that's linked to the latitude and longitude, the compass. Are they ever can they ever confirm in an airplane that they actually are flying a straight line, or they're always making adjustments? They're always comparing, and the GPS.
No, it's represented.
So it's just a complex topic you brought up. I don't know that there's like one just instant rebuttal. It's a complex thing.
No,
I was just asking their understanding.
It's very simple. It's represented by arc lengths. It's very simple. The same make it equivalent on all 3 models. It's represented by arc length.
Okay, it was a very simple question, and I got 2 different answers, and that's fine. Thank you.
It's just represented by arc length. If you look at the flight paths, Gio, right?
I think what he's meaning is that the flight paths are tracked on the globe, but if you were to draw a straight line on that map and then follow the latitude and longitude points, it would be a straight line.
On what map?
On your 2-pole map. Like, if you've got your 2-pole map, and if you draw a straight line on there and then punch in the coordinates and you fly from that straight line, you understand what I'm getting at?
It would be cutting across the latitudes.
Yeah, you follow the latitude lines marked on the 2-pole map, and because that flight path is the latitude lines on the globe map.
No, it's the same
which
exact.
is curved.
It's the same.
Yeah, Yeah, I understand that. But if you were to go and mark, like draw a straight line on your 2-pole map and then follow the line, the latitude crossovers where that line intersects and then follow this flight path to those coordinates.
Right, but that's not, even on the AE map, you're not supposed to draw straight lines on the AE map.
Yeah, I realize that, but what I'm saying is that on your the 2-pole map, if you would draw a straight line from A to B, and then just punch in those coordinates that it goes through, would that be a straight line in reality and not curved?
No. If you look at actual flight paths, it's always going to be taking some type of curved path.
Yeah, but that's because you're following the globe longitude and latitude.
There's only longitude and latitude, bro. There's no difference. That's what I'm trying to explain. It's all based off the spherical coordinate system that we call the graticule, which means that if we all share an equivalent coordinate system, right, the spherical coordinate system, then you can make it 1-to-1 to any projection that you so choose.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to point out is if you were to draw a straight line on that map and then point where the line intersects with the latitude and longitude line and then follow that on our map, I don't think you're missing.
Doc, I think you'd have to like specify a certain flight to make your point.
Yeah.
If there is a point.
Yeah, I know.
But any straight line on a flat map is way straighter than what they call a straight line on a globe.
Yeah, and another thing
there's actually
another thing is could you overlay the Alberto Monti map onto that?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Flat map. Okay.
Dude, it's open source on GitHub. Like, you can fork it and do whatever you want with it. I posted it in the chat.
Hey, Beast, was Alan showing you where it breaks the globe? The globe doesn't actually work for it, the 90 degrees observations of the stars. Was he showing you that?
No, he's probably going to present that, though.
Yeah. The globe actually doesn't work with this whole thing. It's the funny thing. You can actually debunk the globe with this modeling thing he's doing. But the thing is also that if it's flat, like obviously a lot of us think that that's pretty obvious now. Then they started with something. The continent layout for the dual pole and the AE is different, right? There's more space. I'm not just talking about transformative graticule. I'm talking about what reality was when they created the fake spherical graticule. What did they start with? What did it actually look like? And that's not just like one transforms as good as the next. The way this model works, they actually started with the continents in a certain position in relation to each other.
Wait, what do you mean fake spherical coordinate system?
Well, there's not an actual full sphere of stars that connect 360 degrees around. That doesn't actually happen in reality because we're not on a ball. So it can't actually happen in reality.
Well, in reality, you have the equator that separates the two star fields, right? And it's represented in two different hemispheres.
The celestial equator. But for the dual pole, the sun either goes north or south. And so it's like two equators basically for the sun. But if it's a dual pole, we just have that middle line, that celestial equator, and there is no wraparound. That's why with the spherical coordinate system, starting with that and making a transform of it, that's why people are convinced it has to be a Pac-Manning sun, or the way that model has it have to reappear somewhere, because it's constrained to the fake spherical graticule. But if it actually is a dual pole and it's flat, then those continents aren't laid out exactly in that position, especially if there's a 33-degree correction for the prime meridian, like E1 thing. So the way we used to have
I don't know about any of that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole like if he actually figured it out, because he was making sure that there was the correct amount of sunlight for each continent. Until he did the 33-degree correction, he didn't have the correct amount of sunlight. He knows like 2.3 hours of direct sunlight for New Zealand. He wasn't getting. I mean, he went down to like the nitty gritty on the layout for his shit. And it's not the same as the spherical graticule transform, because the spherical graticule has it breaks because it's like here. I'll post in the chat.
Hold on,
I'll put
I'm
a
with the Nick right now. I gotta go. Fortunately, I told you.
Oh, okay. I'll send it to you. There's like the place where the blue side of the ball is, where Point Nemo is. The stars can't run parallel through there. They actually have to diverge and converge and never meet on that blue side of the ball. Otherwise, we're on a ball. So if you could go to Point Nemo and look up in the sky and see those stars running parallel, then there would have to be some kind of other explanation for it that I can't even think about. I can't even think of. But no one's going to do that. No one's going to go to the blue side of the ball and look up and see the stars are parallel at those places where the dual pole hasn't split, furthest apart, furthest away they could possibly be.
Isn't it possible that the stars could not split like that though? Like there could be like some kind of like total internal reflection or some kind of an effect with the sky that the stars would never do that, that it would all look like a cohesive circuit no matter where you are. Even though like on these models it looks like it would have to, because if you have two rotating, the northern region and the southern with those two star trails, you would think, okay, well then those are going to have to diverge. But I'm saying, like, isn't it possible there could be like a total internal reflection or some kind of an effect on the outer rim, basically, that would have it all look seamless?
You're seeing the southern stars, where in the place that's up of north, you would still see the southern stars through like some kind of like caustic type thing. Is that what you're saying?
Possibly. I mean, I wasn't like totally invoking the coffee cup caustic, but I guess that would be like a form of like an internal reflection. Yeah, I wasn't really putting forth like some major theory with it. I'm just saying, like, isn't it in the realm of possibilities that the stars would not split like that? That it would all look like a cohesive star field, even though
Yeah, if it's, yeah, I mean, it has to be some explanation if somehow that happened. I can't even imagine, because you'd be in the middle of the blue side of the ball, which doesn't exist because we're not on a ball. So I don't know where you're talking about. You'd see them from. You know what I'm saying? If we're not on a ball, then it doesn't work like a complete sphere that goes 360 degrees around you in all directions, like the spherical graticule has it. It can't work like that, because otherwise then we're on a ball. That's why people are convinced we're on a ball, because they're not going to Point Nemo and proving that we're on a ball, or going up the international date line all the way up the back side of the blue side of the ball. That would have been done many times over, and they wouldn't just be dipping down in Antarctica trying to claim north to south circumpolar navigation. They would just go up the blue side of the ball, like the international date line that's actually broken in half, necessarily, for it to be flat, in my opinion. I guess, in my opinion. I don't know if there's any other way to work it.
yeah, well then that's where the split would be, the international date.
Yeah, it's half. The international date line split halfway. That's how that's if it's the dual pole that we're talking about, then it has to. They don't actually come together, but they'll claim shipping routes and airplane routes cross over that place where they bent all the oceans back and pretended that it wrapped around a ball. That's where the secret is. And it's the perfect way to do it, because who's going to confirm it? Even if people went there and filmed it or said they went there, it's just like going to Antarctica the 24/7. You're always going to have doubters on the other side that are biased, saying, oh, they could have faked it. They didn't actually go up the international date line all the way. And they would have done it by now. That's my reasoning on that. If that could be done, they would have done it. Because that would be true international. That would be true circumpolar navigation, which has never been done ever. And there's a reason, because that international date line doesn't actually go all the way through if it's flat Earth.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, I was just thinking. I mean, do you think there is a place where the stars split? I guess I was just saying, is it
Yeah,
possible
they converge and diverge. I thought you agreed on that. That's what they do. I mean, it's admitted on the globe side. They have excuses for it, but they have to even show it in stellarium. They converge and diverge through and they run parallel through the celestial equator and then diverge. I mean, necessarily they have to, because they go in little circles around each pole, and it just keeps getting wider from there.
Well, I mean, they appear to like anywhere along the equator due to the two rotations. But what I'm saying is that is there a place in the sky, do you think, in the far east or west on that dual pole layout where the stars actually do deviate to
Yep,
where?
absolutely.
Because I mean, optically,
Matter
I
of
can
factly.
understand why they do at the equator because you have the two rotations. But like, if you're in like Indonesia, like on the kind of east side roughly, and you're looking west, even though you can't see all the way to like the west part of the dual pole, you're only seeing like, to South America or whatever, like they still look like they're diverging, but somebody in South America looking up would see them going straight. You know what I mean?
Are you talking about if we were on a ball, it could be just an illusion, or are you saying if it's a flat Earth, they still? I mean, if it's a flat Earth and we have two star rotations, they necessarily have to converge and diverge, or it doesn't work. And that's what they do anyway. So it doesn't. It's not like there's. I mean, that's what they apparently do, and that's what they would have to do literally for it to be a dual pole with two star rotations. As far as I can tell, that's the only way it works. Yeah, like here, like I put these two X's here. Like the stars running parallel through the celestial equator do not run parallel at zero latitude when it gets to the top. Those stars on the far bottom and the far top do not meet there. And there's no I mean, other than like the reified globe model apps that make you think they do, you'd have to actually go and show it, or you know believe whoever shows it or whatever. But it's the perfect way to hide it because he's in the middle of the ocean there. And I sent you that video with E1 showing all the armadas of ships there, and he was saying that look, that the program here, it shows them sitting right next to each other, but they're actually, if you look up the GPs, they're like thousands of miles apart.
When you're on
Yeah.
the equator line, do you just teleport to the other side if you just keep going along the east to west?
Did you just miss the whole conversation we had?
No, I'm asking a
Yeah,
different question. So, if you're
there's
traveling
no
along the
equator line
equator,
for
hold on
the
a second. Let
sun.
me
Sun goes
finish my
either north or
question.
south. It
Let
doesn't
me
go
finish
around
my
a ball.
question. Let me finish my question. If you're traveling along the equator, which is on your map is just a line, can you
It's the
go?
celestial equator. There is no sun equator that goes straight across around the ball on the
No,
dual pole.
is there equator? Is there an equator on this map?
There's only the celestial equator through the center, and then the sun either goes north or south, depending on the season.
So you can't travel the equator and get back to the other side, like where you have the
It's
W
the
and the
same
E.
equator. You would just think it's going, because we know that it goes north of west for the winter, and it goes south of west for the summer. That's what it literally does when you look at the sky. It sets north of west for the winter, for the summer, and south of west for the winter. That's what anyone could observe that. Now, I think it goes a lot further out when it's on the equinox, and it seems like it goes straight, straight, straight. And maybe if you could go out like past, uh, you know, uh, what is it, like one of those islands way out there, maybe you could actually see the stars converging and diverging and actually splitting apart, or the sun, curving around after it seems to go straight for a while. So those are some of the details we'll have to work out and making it a little bit more of a visually accurate map. Yeah, you've seen my GIF on the sun. I'm not saying this is perfect, but this is the general idea of how it would have to work. If it's a flat Earth dual pole, and the transform, the one he was showing, the one that the GIF that I put in there, that's the way the sun would have to be using the spherical coordinates, right? But E1 just used the nautical almanac for all his stuff in the star position, which he's very sure about. And the sun as well. You know, the sun crosses over the celestial equator and it goes around the north for the summer. And then at a certain date and time, it crosses down south. And there's toroidal fields and it charges up in the south. And then it gets enough to go all the way up to the north. And it's like clockwork. Same day, same time every year. But back and forth. 128 days in both areas, plus the 1 day of transition to make it 365 days. 182 days, I mean. 182 times 2 plus 1.
How does it charge? Where does it get the energy to charge up?
That's an interesting question. I mean, it's an electromagnetic field, so that gives it an actual mechanism, which you guys are always asking for, right? It shows how the stars could be moving in a fluid motion, or satellites, which they use the electromagnetic field to deploy the satellites with, and they're
No, they
actually
don't.
using that field.
No, they
Well,
don't.
if it's a flat Earth, but you can just say they don't.
Okay.
You
I
think
got you.
you're on a
I got
globe.
you.
If it's a flat Earth, it's an electromagnetic field. It gives an actual mechanism for them to use, which it seems to be what they're doing. If it's a flat Earth, and they're using that, and E1's paid close attention to how they launch it, and there would be a different charge if you're in the north or south as well. There's a different charge you would use for the satellites, depending on where you deploy it from. And they always do it right at the celestial equator. It has to enter right at that point. That's why Florida is a perfect place. So yeah, they're launching satellites up there. I mean, the fluid motion of thinking of it falling around a ball, it fits with the same circuiting fluid motion that electromagnetic field provides. So it's the reason probably that if it's not a ball, that's the reason they had to choose, or whatever they had to, make that idea of it falling perpetually, which is insane and ridiculous and stupid. But they had to use something like that to make the fluid motion work. Falling perpetually, that's hilarious.
Free balling.
Free balling. Free falling. Free falling over the balling.
Wait, how are you saying that's linked to the satellite paths? Because of the
Well,
paths.
it's the fluid circuiting motion, the idea of it falling can give you that same kind of least resistance fluid motion in your imagination if you're a baller, I guess.
Okay,
Even though it wouldn't work.
But do you think they're actually moving in a field above us? See, that's another interesting idea, is if you can actually throw something up there and it'll actually move with that fluid or in that motion. That would almost be
you couldn't throw anything up there, but yeah, you could put stuff up there. That's what they're using, supposedly. I mean, how else would they be doing it?
Well, that's a big question, how the satellites are working. I mean, one theory is that they can throw. I just use the word throw, but like launch something up there and then it would start moving like it would if you put a little boat in a river and it goes flowing with the river, like free flowing.
Yeah, like riding the ionic field or whatever, the ionic layering.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, rides. There's an electromagnetic field of some sort. I mean, that's what it looks like. That's what it, would work like. Double toroidal electromagnetic field.
Well, in that idea, is that fluid going 17,500 miles an hour?
I don't know. I guess whatever. Is that according to the distance that it would have to? No, I think actually they would be going. I don't know. I don't know how they configure that actually. Isn't that what they confirm the ISS is going actually at that speed, even if you're on a flat Earth, it just circuits at that speed? Haven't there been flat earthers that confirm the speed, but just not the distance, or just not the roundness, the orbiting part of it?
Yeah, it's making like an arc path of that rate. By the way, real quick, one other thing on the star field thing with the stars, like, so at the equator, they're all going straight, and then yeah, you can see that divergent, like apparent divergent effect of the stars going to the north, stars going to the left. But I guess like if you're saying that there's somewhere on Earth where they really do split, then that means that like you should be able to get underneath where that split is, and you don't have straight stars anymore. You know what I mean? And as far as I know, like everywhere on the equator, you always have the straight stars, like rising directly east, setting directly west. Now, I know this talks about getting into the idea of like the middle of the Pacific Ocean, international dateline, but I'm just saying if the stars really split in the sky, like actually split tangibly, there should be some place like on Earth that shouldn't be too hard to get to. I mean, I know not a lot of people are out in the middle of the Pacific, but to be able to get out there and then potentially the stars would not be going straight, east to west. They would
Yeah,
actually, you would see them like dramatically diverging. And that's what I'm saying. I'm
yeah.
skeptical that exists, that there is a place like that, or they'd have to be hiding it from us, and I mean,
Well, there could be more place. There could be you can go further out on a dual pole flat Earth than the globe seems to allow. But Ewan always talked about if you could get past Easter Island with the right telescope, he's convinced that you would see a place where you can see like no stars and then stars going one way or another. He's
wait, are
tracked
you
them
saying,
all.
well,
Yeah,
that was
there would
interesting
be a
though. You're
split.
saying that there could be more space than there is on the globe model. That like the Pacific could actually be
Oh yeah,
larger, and
oh
then they're
yeah,
kind
there is. It's definitely larger.
of
Absolutely larger.
and they're kind of piecemealing it the way the whole international dateline's all like hacked together. You're saying the idea that they could
Yeah,
be
they've
like,
confined us. They've confined us to these latitude longitude lines, right? And maybe that's the extent of the electromagnetic field lines but not like those lines on the dual pole are where like the extent of the stars. That's just the stars they use for navigation.
yeah.
The stars go as far as you can see. Plus, there's a doubling effect that happens with electromagnetic fields, where it could be like kind of like that parabolic reflection that people are AE map type people are thinking that the southern stars could be like just only reflections, parabolic reflections, but you would get that doubling of the field on the outskirts. And so it could look like there's still stars, even if the stars within the field that are real stars are actually, circling, within a certain confinement or area. And then there could be a doubling of a field or a whole other system next to us. But we can't get out that far. There's armadas of ships that will stop you. I just posted that one of E1 where he's talking about the satellites. I'll post the one where he's showing armadas of ships for people too. And there's buoys that'll redirect you. But I mean, you're just following your compass anyway, and you got your direction, and you're at a certain latitude. So there'd be no reason for you to think that there's anything beyond it, because you just think you're looking at the other side of the ball anyway, but you're not going to go past your, traveling path anyway. I mean, I guess somebody could be a kamikaze and start saying, "Oh, I'm going to go across this area," and but there's lots more land, a lot more water surrounding us on a dual pole flat Earth. It's not just the globe parameters any longer. That's why I made that the better AE map with a lot more water outside it, and that figure 8 path, because if the sun circles north for the summer and south for the winter, then it would you know, theoretically make a little divot. It would look like an 8 shape because it would go around the north and the south more prominently than it wouldn't go across the middle. So it would leave a little divot there, like the 8 shape. That's probably what it looks like. Not that that could be proven necessarily.
Are you saying A or egg shaped? Egg?
Eight shaped.
Like the letter A?
No, eight, like the number
Oh,
eight,
H.
like in this one. Yeah, like
Oh,
there. You
H.
see how I have like I put a lot more. I made it a lot more water. The water on the outside, like the globe is ends with that zero latitude where the X is, right? That's the parameters of the globe. But on a dual pole, you have a lot more water, and that water probably has a lot more land in it that we don't know about.
So
It
that
could
could
be
be
a lot
where,
wider than that even.
yeah, the whole thing of more land comes into play. But
Hmm.
are you suggesting the idea that they're keeping us within a confined region that they call the globe Earth, and that's the globe, even though there is actually more water and land that would actually reveal what the realm actually is, but that
Yep.
they're keeping us. If you have a two-pole system like this, and it does seem like there's certain ways, like if you take this spherical coordinates from the two poles, like north and south, and then project it sideways, you end up with that like stereographic projection of spherical coordinates, like the two poles like that. And the same way an electric field circuit, because an electric field circuit is obviously three-dimensional, but if you put it onto like a flat surface, you end up with the pattern of the two poles
Yep.
and so on. So are you saying the idea that they would like keep us confined within that kind of two pole flat region in order to sell it as a globe, but if we were able to actually explore further, we would see more, like it would, more of the plane would be revealed of how it's actually, what the, like the
Yeah,
full extents of it are?
that would be the case if it's flat. I mean, I think it's infinite. If it's flat, I think it's infinite until proven otherwise. Not that infinite is a real, like it's infinite in quotes, you know, but because how could reality have an end to it? I mean, even if there's a dome that has like, it goes into the ground at some point, there's more reality beyond that, right? It's not like reality ends.
How do you know?
I wouldn't assume reality ends. It could, but then what? You put
I
your hand through an area and then your hand just disappears into a non-reality?
not. Yeah, I think that reality is finite. Eventually, you reach non-dimensional. Even amongst the electromagnetic theorists like Ken Wheeler and stuff, there's something known as counter space that surrounds
Yep.
reality. Counter
Yep.
space is basically non-dimensional non-existence. It's the end of reality. There is an end.
I don't know if counter space proves there's an end,
That would
other than
that would be the
maybe
end.
a metaphysical. It's not like another dimension in the way that the Glovers use dimensions or the time dimension thing. I don't know about that. I think it's like I don't think that the counter space is a non-reality in the same way conceptually
Yeah, there's
because
no
it
time.
interacts with that.
It's literally, there's nothing. There's no time. There's no dimension. It's non-dimensional. There's no area
Mm.
like space, like length, width, and height doesn't exist there. There's nothing there, dude. It's non-dimensional.
I don't know
That's
if
why
that's. I don't know.
reality's
Maybe you
finite.
know more about it than I do.
No, I'm just saying it. I mean, we can get into
I don't know if
logic.
it's. I
Why
suppose I don't
logic?
know if there's a place that time wouldn't exist because time's just conceptual anyway.
No, I disagree with that too.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you know more than I do, but I don't see it that way.
Just because something is conceptual, right, or abstract doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
I'm not saying it doesn't exist. And I don't know. Do you think time is like? Do you think time travel is possible?
No, not in the same way that you would jump in a machine and time travel to the future or to the past. No, I don't think that's possible.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's kind of what I mean by like time being a thing. It's
Well,
not.
time
It's
is
not
a
a
thing.
thing in that way.
I mean,
How
there are
so?
things.
How is time
I
a
mean,
thing?
it's kind of complex, dude. It has to get with regarding ontology, like the study of being. What is a thing, right? Versus a privation. Time is a
Hmm.
thing, right? Love is a thing. Logic is a thing. Equity is a thing,
Yeah, they're all
right?
concepts.
Yeah, and just because they're concepts or just because they're abstract doesn't mean that they're not real. They're still real. They're known
Yeah,
as
as concepts.
they're known as transcendentals.
Okay, but what do you mean by real then?
They have a positive existence.
That doesn't say anything. Positive existence.
Yeah, they're known as entities. So time is an entity.
Entities. Well, that's a whole other thing. How is it an entity?
Well, that's why it's kind of. I mean, if you don't, I mean, I'd have to break down ontology. Dude. I don't feel like it. But I'm trying to explain to you really quick. Like,
when I think of entity, I think of like a being of some sort.
No. I'm not talking about like a little green men or anything. I'm not talking about an entity like an alien gray, dude. That's not what I mean by entity.
Oh no.
Ontology.
I don't. I
like
thought entity
cup.
was kind of like a spirit, like not like alien, but more like a spirit.
No. It's like the same thing. A person. No. Like a cup is an entity, right?
What is an entity?
A cup. A plate.
A cup, like a coffee cup.
A tree
is an entity.
Yes, it's an entity.
Well, that's what you mean. How is time an entity? Because that's like implying it's a physical thing.
Because no, it doesn't have to be physical. You have entities that aren't physical.
That's kind of what I was saying. They're spirit being of some sort.
No. I'm not talking about spirits, bro. I'm not talking about. When I say entity, it has to do with the specific context of
you mean
ontology.
Metaphysical.
Bro. Yeah, there are metaphysical entities. There are metaphysical entities, abstract entities, transcendental.
Okay.
Like
counter.
We're talking about immaterial. No, not like counter space. Not like counter space.
Okay.
Immaterial entities. Immaterial.
Okay.
Like logic itself. Like logic itself.
Why do you think that? Okay, so are you saying that conceptually time could be real as a physical entity, or are you saying that you think it actually is some kind of thing that is identifiable as a thing, a real thing?
Well,
like I don't get it.
For example,
not that I can't get it.
I know. So you have the laws of morality, right? You have the laws of logic. These things are immaterial and transcendental, but they're still real. They don't just because it's immaterial or abstract doesn't mean it's not real. There are transcendentals that are necessary for reality itself to exist. There are certain immaterial preconditions that have to exist, have to be real for reality itself to exist. Even though they're immaterial.
It gets confusing. It gets confusing with people that are talking about dimensions, and they use time as a way of making more dimensions with the globe logic or a lot of the new age type stuff where it's like, oh, we have 11 dimensions because we can fold time, and they make time manipulatable. I think that is something that still lingers in a lot of flat earth people's heads as a possibility, which I think time's linear. Time is a concept, but linear reality exists. How about that? I'll agree with that. Linear reality doesn't exist. Yeah.
You can't
but the idea of time being a physical thing that's manipulatable, I think, is a psyop.
No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with time dilation.
Yeah.
I believe time is fixed. Time is constant. Time is not something that we could manipulate, as far as I know.
That's why they had to make light the constant, because they had to have a constant. So they switched it and made light the constant and time the variable.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? Yeah, they inverted it.
They had to do it for the equations to work. They're like, oh, we'll make light the constant. And then we can have our light years and infinite stars and all that kind of shit.
That is very weird.
Mathematically.
But for example, you can't. When it comes to
you're never going to have a second be with the clocks, by the way, and all that. Yeah, time's the constant, no matter what. A second is a second. It's not going to be any different just because you put it on a clock and send it off to space.
Right. Yeah. There's a general relativity, special relativity. So, like, you have chain and effect relationships, right? But in order to have chain and effect, that the law of causality, that's actually known as the law of causality, right? Cause and effect relationship. Mm-hmm. You need certain preconditions have to be met, right? They have to exist before you can even have a cause and effect, right? There has to be time. Time is what allows a cause and an effect to actually take place, or computation to take place, right?
Meaning there has to be a linear nature to our reality. So you have one before the other, basically is what you're saying. Cause, effect,
Yeah,
right? One after
yeah.
the other. Linear reality.
Yeah, a sequence, right? A sequence of events. In order to have a sequence, you need time.
Yeah, but
You
time
need
doesn't
time.
exist as a thing that makes that possible.
Time,
I mean, I
time
know you
does
can think of it that way.
time does exist as a thing that makes that possible. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Time is a thing. It's an entity that exists. It's not just some abstract thing that humans created for conventional purposes. No, dude. Time is a necessary precondition. Just like logic. Logic itself is a necessary precondition for reality. Even though logic is abstract and it's transcendental, doesn't mean that logic doesn't exist.
Do you think maybe a better word than time would be appropriate for it to be like, for it to sink in for people what you're talking about? Because you know, time is a concept in our reality, but then if using it as a way of like existing in its own, um, you know, you could just say existence. You know, time is existence, existence in the linear reality that we live in. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
you call it time.
You can't have existence without time, dude. Absolutely.
Well, there's a linear relationship, you know, within this reality. You can call it time if you want, but it's not the same thing as time in the way that we think of time normally. That's all, right?
There's different types of
There's a
time, dude.
difference.
Like, yeah.
Yeah,
You're thinking
exactly.
about there's chronos time, which is like
Right.
conventions of time, like measurement of time, right? Like clocks. And then you have Kyrios time, which is it's no different than when we talk about the background medium, which everything consists in, right? Everything exists within this background medium. You need the fabric. You need that fabric. Figuratively speaking, you need that fabric for existence itself.
Yep, the ether. Right.
So
Yeah.
time
Conflated the fabric of space time with the ether for sure.
Time is a factor that can't be denied. It's because existence is irreducibly complex and it requires certain preconditions, which include logic, time, and uniformity in nature, all these things that we think are just concepts, but yet they exist.
Yeah, and you'd have to find a way of describing it that would be able to, you know, hit home for people to differentiate between the concept and the actual thing. There has to be a way to do it, maybe using different words or different ways of describing it in some way that actually shows what you're talking about. I know what you're
And we'll,
talking about as far as counter space and
and,
everything else goes, but you can't really say it's a thing on its own because then it makes it seem like it's a thing that can be separated from everything else.
well, counter space isn't a thing. That's what I was trying. There are privations and then there are entities. Privations are a negative, or they take away from existence. They're a deficiency. They tear away at reality. It's the opposite of an entity. It's a privation.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard, so it's hard to explain. Like I mean, let me try to think of something. Like a hole in the ground, right? Like if I was to, like we have the ground, right, and then you have the hole in the ground. The hole in the ground, it's a hole. It's a privation. It's not a thing. It's a whole, like, yeah, it's a concept. We know it. We know it as a whole, right? It's an abstract concept, but it's not a thing because it's taken away from reality itself. There being a well or a hole, right? That hole is a privation, just like a shadow, right? A shadow is a thing. Well, not necessarily a thing, but it's a concept, right? But a shadow isn't an entity. It's a privation.
Let me read something from one of my Brenner comps that I made. I don't know if you've looked over those, but Brenner does a great job. I just posted it in the live stream of making it comprehensible. He says, it is the polarization of the ether which creates everything. And this polarization plays out between space and counter space. This polarization is called the electrification of the ether, where magnetism lives in space, whereas dielectricity lives in counter space. Here, and then he goes down to the next part here. I'll jump ahead. The total electrification of the ether, and he has the Planck's constant and all that in there. And he wraps it up. This is from last time I read this. The qualitative speed of a medium with respect to capacitance, dielectricity, and inductance, magnetism, is expressed in factors called permeativity as a factor of capacitance and permeability as a factor of inductance. You should check out his stuff on counter space and the ether, man. He breaks it down.
Yes, yeah, sounds like the same stuff that Ken Wheeler be talking about. Industrial permeability.
I don't think he got it from Ken Wheeler, but yeah, Steinmetz. They both got it from Steinmetz, obviously. Steinmetz and Heavy Side, those guys. And the ether is the thing that the reason they went after Whitsitt, the reason they went after the tattooed bald monkey man, Ken Wheeler. It was all about the ether, you know. It wasn't a personal thing. I think it's ether is off the table because that's the key to everything. It's a real thing. It's testable, and I guess manipulatable. Using it like there's another thing by Brenner. He talks about the ether and how if you knew how ether polarization worked, you'd have power beyond most men for sure. And there could be a good reason that they don't want people understanding how the polarization of ether works. You could maybe make a weapon, or Tesla was crumbling buildings with frequencies and stuff. I mean, that could be just their excuse, but it could be, a really dangerous thing if everybody understood how that works. Maybe at one time it was, and that's why they decided to get rid of it or try to hide it to make magic wands real. There's a section in here called Brenner compilations where I put all the comps I made. He was being real honest about everything with like the pandemic and everything. So I figured I better copy his shit as soon as I possibly could. He's shadow banned too. If you type in the exact question he answers on Quora, his answers won't come up. You have to type in his name and then go to his thing and look through all of them. But then he talks about all language. The oldest known language is all about ether dynamics, and that's where our written language comes from today. He says Karuna text is what it's called. There's like
dude, I know who you're talking about, dude. I seen people share his
Michael
stuff.
Brenner. Yeah, I made. There's a whole section. I have like 80 of these comps that I made.
I think it's Michael Stone or one of those guys was sharing his stuff, dude. I remember looking at the screenshots.
Yeah, I'm the one that brought that to the table to begin with because I was looking up counter space, in fact, and he came up. I was like, oh, because I was listening to Whitsitt talk about counter space, and then I started Googling counter space, and somehow his thing came up. He's been on there since 2016, flat smacking other educated people for since then, and I had never heard anyone else, any other flat earther, bring him up, and now we have and I was talking about the kinematics and dynamics way before these guys figured out I was right, and they're like, oh shit, no wonder Dave was talking about kinematics and dynamics, because that's what Brenner is talking about, and he talks about all kinds of stuff too. There's like 80 of the ones I made. I like took screenshots with my phone and then emailed them to myself, and then stitched them all together in Photoshop so you could get all the pictures. But you could download a bunch of just the text too. Someone else put a link for just like a text version of a lot of his stuff. But the Karuna text, man, I'm emailing with him. In fact, or not recently, but a while back, I was emailing with Brenner, and he said it's all about alchemy. Alchemy is the thing that they're hiding more than anything.
Runic text, yeah, dude. You're talking about the Norwegian stuff, a Norse mythology, right?
Let's see here. I'm trying to find a quote where he talks about the language here. I'll post this one too. He talks about the ether. Somebody
Some
asked him what
interesting
would be
stuff.
because that's the shit. Let's see. Yeah, the counter space is one of those things that's really hard to wrap your mind around, no matter who you are. But it actually is the thing that makes the most sense, the dielectric and the magnetic. Yeah, it's Slavic. It's a Slavic language. Here, I'll share this one in the main text now.
Reminds me when they say things are popping in and out of existence, like that would relate to counter space potentially as well.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Magnetism in
Basically,
general.
there seems to be like this yin yang or pressure mediation between existence and non-existence, is what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't call counter space non-existence. More like the
That's what it is.
physical part of our reality.
That's literally what it is, though, as defined. Counter space, as defined, is
it just means non-physical.
No. It's not even metaphysical, dude. It's literally by its very definition, counter space is non-existent, non-dimensional. Seriously, dude.
Yeah, but
it's not metaphysical. It's not metaphysical like logic is transcendental metaphysical. It's not metaphysical like love or the laws of morality, right? It's that, even though those are transcendental metaphysical, they exist. Counter space does not exist, dude. It's complete non-existent, non-dimensional.
I don't think non-existence is the right way to describe it. I know what you're trying to say, but I think you're saying it's non-existence. That means there is no counter space.
Hi guys.
It's too. Hold on, real quick. I'm gonna read this. He says in that paper, no technology operates on the basis of the negation of the ether. The entire field of electrical engineering is nothing but the engineering of ether polarization. The people that people are unaware of that is just because schools are manipulated into teaching an etherless world. Oliver Heaviside and Carl Proteus Steinmetz should be household names, but they aren't. Why? They are, after all, the fathers of our electrical engineering and thus the fathers of our electrified civilization. They are kept in obscurity because they teach ether physics. And a broad awareness of the potential of the ether is the greatest threat to power monopolies who thrive on the control, that is, the scarcity of energy. Tesla hits the nail on the head when he points out the infinite energy reservoir that the ether represents. And there's that quote from Tesla: nature has stored up in the universe infinite energy. The eternal recipient and transmitter of this infinite energy is the ether. The recognition of the existence of the ether and the function it performs is the most important results of scientific research. And he goes on, oh, of course, even modern physics and cosmology cannot do without the ether. It's just that they have to bend backwards in order to avoid any association with the concept of the ether. It's hilarious to watch the garbled word creations stemming from ether, from this attitude: quantum foam, vacuum energy, and whatnot, totally nonsensical notions, whereas ether is an engineerable and verifiable physical reality. All ancient cosmologies and mythologies are applied ether physics. We just don't understand that anymore because math has taken over the field of science. In ancient times, science was done in spoken language, which you could relate and transmit to the ordinary people. Modern science, in quotes, is a secret cult using a language that is totally detached from physical reality, as well as the intuitive understanding. Would physicists and mathematicians be forced to express their findings in spoken language, anyone would immediately recognize the scam that is being perpetrated. And then he says, all our writing systems stem from the ancient Slavic runic system called Karuna, something that is, of course, completely off the record and forbidden knowledge. But once you study it, once you study it, you realize these people understood everything about ether physics. When we look at their script arranged in a 9x16 matrix, we might as well be looking at a code system for a nuclear power plant. So technical does it come across. Then he has the Karuna 9x16 grid. He says that, and he has these two highlighted. One, we see two runes which represent pure ether polarization. Scientists describe polarization. Science is described by Maxwell Heaviside and as described by Maxwell Heaviside and Simon. The one with the oval on the right reads as yuga, with the meaning where time is, and then the other one is where time is not. So it's interesting, yeah, because he actually talks about time in the same way that you're describing it, as a privation that you actually have to treat as something. But it's hard to still call it
Well, that's what I'm
time in the
trying to tell
way
you,
that
bro.
we think of
He's
time
actually
as a
saying the
concept.
same. So
Yep.
counter space is non-dimensional, non-spatial, non-existence, non-time. There's no time there, dude.
Yeah,
Versus
but I wouldn't put
existence. Hold
non-existence in there.
on. Versus existence, which is spatial, right? Has time, has dimension, right? Has existence. So the
Well,
opposite of
maybe
all of that
non-physical would be
is
better than
the
non-existent.
No, dude. No, bro. I know what I'm saying, bro. I'm not saying just non-physical. There are things that are immaterial, non-physical, yet still entities, still positive existence, like the laws of logic, like the laws of morality, right? These things are immaterial, transcendental, yet they exist. They have a positive existence versus counter space
Right,
that
which
has
is why I'm saying don't say
absolutely
they not.
no. Hold on.
Okay.
Versus counter space that has absolutely no positive existence. No, even if it doesn't even, not even immaterial, dude. It's completely non-existent, non-dimensional, non-spatial, non-time.
Non-physical, but I'm saying maybe I'm just taking non-existent as literal, because if it didn't exist, there wouldn't even be a thing called counter space. So I'm just
It
taking
doesn't
it too literally.
exist.
I don't know what you mean by non-existent. Well, then you're saying it's just a concept.
It only exists as a concept, like
No, that's not
unicorns.
true. Counter space doesn't only exist as a concept.
Bro, you just don't
If what he's
understand.
saying is
And you
true.
don't understand. You don't understand what he's saying, dude. He's actually in agreement with what I'm saying. I don't think you actually understand.
I think if we went back and listened to it, or if you did, you might think that non-existence is saying it actually doesn't exist at all. So
Dude, listen, bro,
that's
listen.
why you can talk
Reality
about it if
itself,
there's no existence. The
existence
same thing you're saying
itself,
about time.
right? Existence itself, right, is swirling around non-existence. When it comes to electromagnetism, right, the block domain, you have counter space at the nucleus of the torus, and you have counter space at the surrounding extremities, which is beyond existence. All you have is counter space, bro. So reality itself, the torus, right, that toroidal field, the vortice, is swirling around non-existence, dude. Counter space.
You could say non-physical, and I would accept it, but non-existence is not the right way to describe it. And if you really, because
No,
that
it is.
non-existence doesn't exist. That's like
It's
Baller's
no,
used with
no, bro.
like places where there's nothing. You can't have nothing. Nothing is not a thing.
That's what I'm trying to explain to you. It's not a thing. And non-existence is not a thing. You're trying to say, no, it is a thing because it's a concept. No, bro, unicorns are
We're just talking
not a
past each
thing.
other.
Unicorns are not a thing. Just because they exist as an abstract concept doesn't mean that they're real. Like logic and the laws of morality, even though they're abstract, even though they're concepts, they're real, dude. Not the same thing. Even though they're immaterial, they're real. Unlike counter space is not real. It does not exist.
Well, that's not what Brenner's saying. I'm cooking something. I just realized it's in the oven. But I think we're just talking past each other, or you're not understanding what I'm saying, and I'm just not understanding what you're saying. But counter space, Brenner's saying counter space does exist. It's just in an immaterial world. It's not the same as not existing.
I don't even necessarily believe in this stuff. This is just the stuff that they talk about, like Ken Wheeler and those guys that are into the occult physics.
Dude, I would read that. Read that paper from Brenner. Read that paper from Brenner that I put in the chat, or go to the Brenner section. You have to download it to read it, otherwise the print
nothing
is blurry.
doesn't have
But
a
you can't.
location. So
Yeah, nothing. There is no nothing.
There's no location of nothing, so you can't have nothing inside of everything because nothing doesn't have a location.
I agree. Something can't. Counter space, according to Brenner or anybody else that talks about counter space, they're not saying it's non-existent. They're saying it's a metaphysical part of our reality. That's all. It's the counterpart of our reality.
It cannot be somewhere if it doesn't exist.
Well, it's this concept. It's this concept, right, of non-existence, non-dimension, non-reality. So you have reality, and you have everything that exists, and then you have the opposite of that.
I'd say counter space is more real than time. That's for sure.
Hell no, dude. Hell no. Not even close, dude.
Well, I think we'll probably agree if we both thought about each other's words more clearly. I'm not sure. Maybe we would.
All right, Lion, did you see my DMs or are you just going to ignore me?
I'm just going to ignore you, dude.
Scared.
Dude, I got DMs all the time. I don't got time for you guys, dude.
My DM was 3 sentences long.
No, I read it, but I don't have time to respond.
That's cap. You don't have a response.
I'm a busy man.
The hell are you guys talking about? Was this passing notes between each other gay shit? Share. What did you send them? What?
Basically, if there's one will within the Godhead, then there cannot be 2 wills where one will is subservient from the other, because 2 does not equal 1.
Yeah, it's just this giant straw man. I already explained it to you, bro. You continue even in your DM, dude. You clearly aren't representing my position correctly, dude. You create a dialectic when there shouldn't be this dialectic. Yeah, they all have one will. I never denied that. You act like I deny that they have one will. But so they all have one will. See, this is a problem.
You can't have 2 wills, one subservient to the other, and then one will. 1 and 2.
Why not? Why not?
Because 1 does not equal 2.
No, yeah, you know what a complex unity is?
That doesn't
exactly
save you. That doesn't save you.
It's no different than people think the Trinitarian. People think the Trinity is illogical because how do you have 3 and 1? How do you have 1 and 3? It doesn't make any sense.
What you're talking about is having the same 2 wills and 1 will. No, I'm not. In the Trinity, there's 3 persons, 1 being.
Wait.
In what you said, there is simultaneously 2 wills and 1 will. There's a difference between persons and being, but there is not a difference between will and will.
Okay, go to Ezekiel
2 does not
37,
equal
dude.
1.
I'll show you an example in scripture where you have 2 equaling 1. You have the 2 sticks of Israel. You have the stick of Judah and the stick of Joseph, right? 2 sticks become 1 stick. 1 stick.
Don't
2
you
becoming 1.
don't you have Paul as well, the carnal mind and the spiritual mind?
That's not the Godhead. That's Jesus fucking Christ. Sorry. Almost got pinched. That's not the Godhead. Within the Godhead, there's only one will. So if there's only one will within the Godhead, there cannot then be 2 wills where one is subservient to the other. Whereas with
What?
the human being, we have 2 wills.
Yeah, but what about when he says, you know, it's not of my own will, but the will of him that sent me?
It's talking about his human will, not his godly will.